Today, we're jumping right into one of the biggest tugs of war happening in IT right now. On one side, you've got the raw, hungry power that AI demands, and on the other, the incredible flexibility that enterprise IT just can't live without. We're going to walk through this whole debate using the key findings from a really comprehensive report by Virtualization Options LLC. Let's break down what this all means for you.
So this is the big question, right? It's what every IT leader is trying to figure out. AI workloads, they want every last drop of performance you can give them. But IT has to be efficient, it has to be scalable, it has to be flexible. It feels like you can't have both. But can you? Let's dig in and find out.
Okay, now before we get into the really cool stuff, a quick but super important heads up. What we're covering here is a high-level overview. It's based on a much bigger 10-module tutorial and a full research report from Virtualization Options LLC. So think of this as general guidance. It's not financial, technical, or legal advice, and it comes with no warranty. Seriously, before you take any action, you've got to talk to your own financial, technical, and legal pros. We're just scratching the surface of the full report today.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll get to the heart of AI's big infrastructure problem. Then, we'll look at the critical difference between training and inference. This is key. After that, we'll pop the hood and look at the tech in the virtualization engine room. And then we'll tie it all together with how to build a smart hybrid strategy, and finally, how to make sure your setup is ready for the future.
All right, let's kick things off with the single most important idea from Module 1 of the report. Not all AI workloads are created equal. Understanding this one distinction is absolutely the key to making the right call for your infrastructure. And it all boils down to two very, very different jobs.
So here it is. AI training. Think of that as sending a model to a super intense, all-consuming boot camp. It's the heavy lifting, the number crunching, the learning phase. But AI inference, that's the model after it's graduated. It's out in the real world, using what it learned to make fast, smart predictions. And these two jobs, they need completely different things from your hardware. That changes everything.
Okay, so now let's see how that plays out in the real world. We're pulling from modules 2 and 3 of the report here, and this is where you start to see a really clear winner emerge for training, but a totally different story when it comes to inference.
And yeah, the verdict from Module 2 is crystal clear. When you're talking about training these massive AI models, you need direct, no-holds-barred access to your hardware. For that kind of peak performance, bare metal is pretty much always the right answer.
And the report doesn't mince words on this. It really captures what everyone in the industry is seeing. Think about the giants: OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Meta. They're all using massive bare metal GPU clusters, and there's a very good reason for that.
This chart shows you exactly why. Virtualization, for all its benefits, adds a layer of overhead. It's like a performance tax on your raw power. Think about it. If a training job takes a week to run, a performance hit like this could mean you lose more than a full day. That's real time and real money. That overhead adds up, and it adds up fast.
Okay, but just when you think you've got it all figured out, that bare metal is the undisputed champ, the whole game flips. Because when it comes to AI inference, all that flexibility and efficiency you get from virtualization, it suddenly becomes a huge, huge advantage. It's a whole new ballgame. And here's why. Inference isn't one giant, long-running job. It's more like a storm of small, individual requests hitting you all at once. The demand is totally unpredictable, and you have to be able to scale up and down in an instant. Well, guess what? Those are the exact problems virtualization was born to solve.
All right, time to get our hands dirty and look inside the engine room. We're summarizing the really technical bits from modules 4 through 7 of the report here. We're going to look at the tools you have for virtualizing GPUs and the performance trade-offs that come with them.
This table lays it all out beautifully. You've basically got two main choices. There's vGPU, which is awesome because it lets you slice up a single physical GPU and share it among several virtual machines. Then there's GPU pass-through, which dedicates an entire GPU to just one VM, giving you almost bare metal speed. It's the classic trade-off, right? Do you want efficient sharing with vGPU, or do you want raw, dedicated power with pass-through?
So this virtualization penalty, where does it actually come from? Well, it's not just one thing. It's more like death by 1,000 cuts. Every single layer of software between your AI workload and the physical hardware, the hypervisor, the virtual machine, it all adds a little bit of overhead.
First, you've got the CPU overhead. We're talking 3 to 7%. That's the power the hypervisor needs just to do its job of managing everything and keeping all the plates spinning.
Then, you can stack on another 5 to 10% for memory overhead.
This comes from the tricky business of translating memory addresses between all the different virtual machines and the actual physical RAM.
And the big one, the one that really stings, is the hit from the GPU virtualization itself, especially with vGPU. That's another 6 to 17%. So you see, when you add it all up, these little penalties stack on top of each other and create a pretty significant drag, especially for something as demanding as AI training.
So what's the answer? This brings us to the really smart strategic advice in Module 8. The report makes it clear. This is not an either-or choice. The smartest play is to build a hybrid strategy that uses the right tool for the right job. And to help you do that, the report gives you this fantastic 5-step framework. First, and most obviously, is it training or inference? Second, how fast does it need to be? Are we talking less than 30 milliseconds fast, or can it wait a bit? Third, how many people need to use it at once? Fourth, how much will demand change? And finally, and this one's important, be honest about what your team can actually manage. You walk through these 5 questions, and the right answer for each specific workload will become pretty clear.
Okay, to wrap things up, let's look ahead. This is where we pull from the last 2 modules of the report, 9 and 10, because the trends that are happening right now are going to completely change how we think about AI infrastructure in the coming years.
And this slide shows the single biggest shift you need to be watching. For the past several years, it's been all about training. Bigger models, more data, more training. But that focus is now shifting, and it's shifting fast. The future is all about efficient, high-volume inference. In fact, by 2030, the amount of compute needed for inference is expected to be more than 10 times what's needed for training. That's huge.
So let's just boil this whole explainer down to the final verdict. For AI training, go with bare metal. You need that maximum throughput and rock-solid, predictable performance. But for AI inference, virtualization is more than just a contender, it's an incredibly powerful tool for getting the flexibility and cost efficiency you're going to need. And that leaves us with this one last question to think about. The center of gravity in the AI universe is moving. This isn't a small tweak, it's a massive, seismic shift from training to inference. So the question you really need to be asking yourself is your infrastructure strategy built for the world of yesterday, or is it ready for the world of tomorrow?